When I finished therapy, one of the hardest things for me was going back into that shell, back into that numbness. And I knew that for years I'd say I was all right. You know you're not all right. So I suppose my mental health journey started probably when I was about 11, when my best friend was tragically run over. And that really, in a way, unlocked my emotions as such. It just opened that door into everything's not happy and dandy. That just kind of bundled for the next 4 years, and in year 10, numerous family crises and just not a very happy situation for any of us. Got to the boiling point, which was where, for the first time in my life, I felt unable to control my feelings, and I tried to take my own life at 15. I don't think I ever would have killed myself, because I think it's an extremely hard thing, but the cry for help, it got to that point where I just felt like that was the only way. Going into hospital that night when they had to take me in, I was originally put on a ward by myself, which I liked because it was me. I was alone, I was okay, I was like, okay. But then they put me on a ward with people that had been through stuff. Some people that weren't leaving the hospital, little kids that weren't leaving, and it wasn't a good place for me. The fact that I felt ashamed to be there, because for someone that wanted to live, this little boy that wanted to live, didn't know if he was going to go home for Christmas. He was talking about it, so he didn't know if he was going to live, but I wanted to die. So I felt, it kind of messed me that, I think, a little bit, and I never really recovered, and I went into therapy for 3 years. They asked me, what can we do for you? And I went, put me in a place with outdoor activities, with other people going through what I go through, and let me relate to other people, know that I'm not the only one going through this, because that's how I feel. I felt so trapped inside myself, it was just me. So I think when I finished therapy, one of the hardest things for me was going back into that shell, back into that numbness. And I knew that for years I'd say I was all right. You know you're not all right. This New Year's, I didn't sleep 3 days afterwards, but I knew that something wasn't right. And that's when my anxiety started. I ended up having health anxiety for about 3 months, where every day I'd wake up, feel a new bump, see a new pimple, freckle. I'd diagnose myself terminally ill. I wasn't going to last the night. Ended up sleeping on my parents' floor, which is funny for a 20-year-old sleeping on your mum and dad's floor, but I felt so scared of what was going to happen that I suppose I needed that comfort, and I needed that sense of security that I didn't have in myself, in my thoughts. From that, I ended up going on antidepressants for the first time in my life, which was a very scary experience. And then jumping to a higher dosage in that period of time of jumping is because it almost sets you back, and it sets you back to where you started, and you've got those raw emotions again. In this time, I suppose, was when the miracle in my life happened, which was when I found mountain biking. My dad just went, forget this, quite brutally, you're coming on a mountain bike ride with me. You've got to get out of the house. And I was still convinced that something was going to happen to me, like I had a terminal illness in my side or someone was trying to hurt me. I felt for the first time calm, relaxed, and just kind of with myself. Everything was so quiet, and all I had to focus on was making my legs go around that bike. Hearing the wind, hearing the birds, feeling the rush past your ears. There's a whole process in my eyes with the therapy, is that putting your shoes on, putting the top on, putting the padding on, just that whole process that you know you're going to do something. You've got a task for that day, you're going mountain biking. I've still got anxiety, but I'm happy, I feel alive. It feels like you're being fed into the environment. I felt like I was part of the environment. You've got to enjoy life. You're not enjoying that one day in the week. You're supposed to enjoy life. That's the whole point of therapy, is to start feeling good again, start talking out these emotions. When I'm on my bike, I can just talk in my own head and my thoughts. It seems like I can have a general conversation with myself, a sane conversation. Because the one thing that I struggled with was just that you're so exhausted. I'm still exhausted. I'm still on my journey. I'm not completely fixed. Having emotions, to an extent, it makes you a person. And I think, but you need to have that line of functionality, that once it gets too much, you have those things in place. You know what to do. And for me, that's mountain biking and the outdoors. Take a minute and just take control of your life.